Government's request a one-time special assessment of member governments. The request is that each member of government pays an additional $1.39 per capita contribution to the COG before May 31st, 2013. The request is required to fully replenish a revolving loan fund. Action on this item has been tabled from the May 6, 2013 board meeting. Okay. Diane, you step to the podium so that the commissioners have a question. Good evening, Ms. Cox. Just, y'all have questions for her? Or this is Diane Cox. This is the Interim Director for the Kerr Tar Regional Council of Governments. Appreciate you being with us this evening. Do you have any open comments? Or
No, I'll be glad to take any questions. I think Danny Wright covered things pretty clearly on last board meeting with you all. And I'm just here if you have any more questions.
But those names of the board of directors, that's public knowledge too, right?
All of it's public knowledge.
Is it on the website anywhere?
It should be on our Kerr Tar Council of Governments website. Now, I haven't checked it to make sure, but it should be on there. And our audit is uploaded to that website normally too. You know, we don't have anybody on site who does that kind of stuff, so we have to get that done from someone on site.
I guess I've got one comment to make. Maybe it'll lead to a question or a comment or anything. I have strong reservations about giving this money to an organization that's being investigated. I wouldn't do that in my own business. Just would give me the hibby-jibbies to do that. I would like to at least wait and see what the results are from this investigation. I mean, it's just, it would be normal to me.
Well, what we've been told is we received a letter from the Economic Development Administration to sequester those funds and put them in a separate bank account and do that immediately. That is what we've been asked to do, and that's what the only way that we are able to do that is by going back to our member governments. We don't have a way to go out and you go to a bank and get a loan, so we can't incur debt. So that's the reason we're here. There's been no other discussion about a further investigation.
Do you have any kind of idea how long this will take? I don't know if you're
No,
ready to talk about that, this investigation.
I have no idea.
I mean, you still can't rule out, I mean, is it just a typo or just an arithmetic mistake, or is it any underhanded dealings, or it's just what bothers me?
Well, it was a matter of there being some expenses that were incurred that were over and above the budgeted revenue for those expenses over a couple of years, and they were, this year when the auditor came, it was deemed that we weren't going to collect those. Most of them are tied directly to one program that we do, and so those expenses were written off.
You make that sound pretty. I can't imagine to be doing all that, what they're doing right now, but anyway.
Mr. Chairman, Diane, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. EDA, of course, the funds that we're talking about is only one part of the benefit that the COG brings to the membership counties.
Correct.
So, you know, to say that this is the situation is all in all for the COG is a misnomer.
Right.
Because there are many other benefits that the COG brings to the member governments.
Yeah, and I think you got a return on investment piece. I mean, we do economic development, transportation planning, all of the funding for aging services for this region funneled through the Kerr Tar Council of Governments, workforce development that works with local businesses that shut down and so forth, retraining workers. We do in the county's community development block grant where we do housing rehab and those sort of things. We've a lot of plans around infrastructure, water sewer improvements over time. I think a lot of that was listed on your return on investment piece that was handed out to you.
But so, can I make another comment? I guess that's one part I did in the last 2 weeks. I went to my, thank the Lord for my computers. I Googled, council of governments and did a little history, investigation on the history of it. And I don't think it was even started until 1972, and before 72, there was life then, or this kind of stuff that went on. We just funnel it through these little third-party type agreements and stuff. Even without these cogs, things would still go on somewhat. Just have to be done a little bit differently.
Well, there's economies of scale.
You know what
for
I mean?
doing
Just
things
being
on a
right,
regional
and that
basis.
could argue back and forth economies of scale, but, sometimes people ask me, why don't the county do it themselves? Go after these grants, write the grants, go after the grants, administer this money to the aging departments and stuff, because it'd still be there, even the absence without a cog. But in fact, we may even financially gain, because we wouldn't be giving up a part of it. But anyway, that's my opinion.
Well, some of the aging funds are, by state statute, they funnel through COGS in the entire state of North Carolina.
Even in absence of a cog, things still go on, or can. It's not like saying if there's not a cog, the whole world's gonna end and nobody can get nothing. So I hear that being kind of presented like that, but there are other ways.
Ms. Cox, I've heard, Commissioner Dunstan, you may can elaborate on this as well, where if we do this one-time per capita fee, that there's a discussion of a return on that, or basically, that we be discounted in several years to come, as or payback, if you will, or
Well, there was some discussion, and Mr. Dunstan may be able to talk to this too, there was some discussion in our executive committee and our board meeting regarding that. Your annual assessments every year are based on enough to match state and federal grants. Over time, the board has been very conservative about trying to keep those assessments down, so there have even been some years when those assessments weren't high enough to meet those grant obligations. I know that the board will do whatever they can in the future to keep those assessments low. Can I stand here and tell you that you're going to get back penny for penny over the next 10 years? No, I can't say that to you, but I know that we will put everything in place to keep those as low as possible.
That is of course, the discussion that has been going on in the executive board meeting in reference to trying to set up a plan, if it's possible, to keep the cog going and to try to set up something to help to pay back the counties in answering the special request. There's no guarantee, of course, that that's going to happen, but certainly that's the way that the board is looking if we can possibly do that. Let me add, in addition to that, when this information came to light to the board of directors, immediately went into action to try to correct what had already been done. And keep in mind that this didn't come to light to the board until the past director had left. And when this was brought to our attention, immediately we went into action to try to set up something. As far as contacting the EDA immediately. We tried to set up a payment plan that it wouldn't affect the membership governments. And of course, as has already been stated in some instances, the federal government was very, very adamant about them wanting their money back now. So that came about, of course, then the only other avenue to go was to come to the member entities to ask to help in that effort. If the money is paid back, whatever the investigation, basically from the EDA that affects those funds, that doesn't necessarily mean that all other programs are going to be affected as well. Right. Just that part of the program.
The revolving loan fund.
Yes.
$300,000.
Right.
Now, I want to make sure I understand, there is a $2 million liability policy in place.
D&O policy through the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, yes.
Now, wait a minute, say that
And
again.
that covers,
Say that again?
The board and the officers.
board and officers. Any further questions, comments on the board?
Yeah, I talked with you, and you said this guy named Lee Mertens was a representative we're talking to.
Yes.
Um,
He's been our
think
grant
you could give us some
administrator.
kind of, pardon?
He's been our grant administrator.
All right. I mean, but is he like controlling what happens?
Well, there's Phil Paradise, who's the director of EDA in Atlanta, the regional director. Mr. Martins, who is his assistant, I believe, that we've been working with, both of them.
I wonder if he can give us some kind of assurance, but they can't shut us down, right? They can just take the $300,000.
Correct.
They can shut us down, Don. You know the
The
answer to
$300
that.
won't shut the card down.
No.
There are many other programs that the card administers, and, this is not the only program that the card administers.
If they take the
Okay,
funding away,
ma'am.
what's gonna
I'm
happen with
sorry.
COG?
Well, you got other money coming in, right?
Right, and that revolving loan fund is used to make loans to small businesses. It's
Right.
not used to underwrite admin costs for the COG. There's a small amount of like 10% that's used for admin for that revolving loan fund. If you don't administer revolving loans, then you don't have that cost. So, we won't be administering that revolving loan fund.
It was just a good fund to help
Exactly.
startup businesses and small businesses.
All right, we've had it for about 25 years, and over that time have loaned over $8 million, because as it's loaned out, it's repaid back with interest, then it's loaned again.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I noticed that, in Franklin County, the towns of Boone, Franklinton, Lewisburg, Youngville, all belong to the COG in addition to the county. And, some of what they was talking about included, I saw in the history of the COG with some, loans and stuff that Franklin County's used. I'm interested in knowing from, perhaps the county manager or the economic development director, what their opinion is on the COG and its importance to Franklin County.
I'll start that. The COG plays a significant role in the administration of the Home and Community Care Block Grant, which is the primary funding source outside of county funding for the Department of Aging. And you should have in your packet just a little bit of a breakdown, giving you an idea in the last 5 years how those funds have been used to a substantial number of home delivered meals, transportation, in-home mileage, and just some of the examples of how that funding has been utilized. And the COG has been the primary entity responsible for the administration of those grant funds. We get those annually. Also provided in your packet the planning community county-based services as it relates to aging. We have provided information about the economic development grants and various and sundry grants that COG has assisted in, not assisted, but has actually carried out the administration of those grants for the last 5 years, and some working with the North Carolina Rules Center and other state agencies in pulling those funds down. Medical transportation, what we used to call elderly and handicapped, now elderly and disabled transportation funding is available, and with the COG's assistance. They have been kind of, for all intents and purposes, an extension of county government in many ways, in terms of the role that they play in the administration of those grants, and also the planning and the evaluation of need for services. So I see the COG as having played a vital role in the last, we might continue doing county government since 1989.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That's my perspective.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner May. I have been, as you know, involved in COG for many years. Matter of fact, I worked with the COG in the revolving loan fund and solid waste coordinator for many years. And not only do they have Franklin County, they have 4 other counties throughout this region. There's a list of loans and grants that we've received from the COG, through the COG. And there are some great programs there, not only for businesses, but for senior citizens and things of this nature. We've got a 60-to-1 ratio in returns on dollars that we've invested in this COG. Some of the things that are not listed on this is when we ran the water line from Henderson to Franklin County, there was several $1 million in grants that we received through the EDA. When we built the water tank on US 1 close to Youngsville, there was additional $1 million there. When we expanded the sewer plant, and actually when we built the sewer plant, there was grant funds from the EDA that came through the help of the COG. So I see it as a ally and as a good partner for us in Franklin County, and certainly they will continue to do what they've done in the past with the opportunity that y'all give them here tonight.
I just, of course, in each one of the packets, you received a synopsis of services that's provided by the COG in Franklin County over the past 5 years. One being a $500,000 grant application to the North Carolina Rural Center to extend water and sewer service to the East Youngsville area. $85,000 grant application to the North Carolina Rural Center to provide sewer services to the Franklin County Industrial Park in Youngsville. $25,000 incentive grant application to the North Carolina Rural Center for the town of Lewisburg for restoration of a building in downtown. $408,000 of 3 incentive grant applications to the North Carolina Rural Center for the town of Lewisburg for restoration and renovation of downtown buildings. $48,000 grant application to the North Carolina Rural Center for the Rural Health Center Incentive Program. Grant was awarded with business owner decline the grant because of Davis-Bacon requirements. $25,000 grant application to the North Carolina Rural Center Build and Reuse Renovation Program for the town of Franklinton. $1,743,000 grant application from EDA to develop the road leading from Highway 401 into the Triangle North site. $900,000 grant application from NCDOT to develop the road leading from Highway 401 into the Triangle North site. Assistant Franklin County Route 401 Action Committee in preparation of this $7 million grant application to the U.S. DOT. While the grant was not funded, the process created a large groundswell to support the collaborative spirit of the county. $101,000 grant for medical transportation for elderly and disabled citizens in Franklin County. 51 individuals have received transportation assistance to access dialysis centers, adult daycare centers, and doctor's appointments. $220,000 grant for a project intended to reduce vehicle crashes and deaths, underage driving, and drinking, underage drinking in Franklin County. All of these have been administered through the COG. The COG has given a great benefit to the citizens of Franklin County.
Ms. Cox, just for clarification, if a municipality within a county, and this assessment, is this assessment in the county cover the citizens outside of those municipalities or within those municipalities?
Outside the municipality.
So a town is not paying twice on the same citizen?
No, they're not.
I saw that in Mr. Trent somewhere, so I was making sure.
It shows a separate amount.
Separate amount for each town.
Now, each town has a separate amount, but
Right,
that's
the county.
subtracted from the county total.
Right. All right. Anything else for the board?
Has everybody passed it?
So far, yes. Town of Lewisburg, Town of Bunn, we're both meeting tonight. The Town of Stem and Granville County is also meeting tonight. And there is one that's meeting tomorrow night. Franklinton's meeting tomorrow night. But so far, it's been 100%.
that they've passed the stipulations. I mean, my goodness,
Ms.
just read the
Hutchinson,
report.
for the board.
If